Hello and welcome back to the show, my Virgo friends, my perfectly meticulous Virgo friends. How are you feeling? Is the energy high or is the energy low? Well, today we are here to run through what you can expect for the month of August. So thank you for tuning in, Virgos. And one thing I will advise you to do, have a calendar handy so you can write these dates down. You'll know when they're coming, you'll know what to expect. And I also recommend you print out your natal chart. I always say that in all of my videos. And if you don't know how to cast your own natal chart, I do have a video showing you how to do that for free. And if you have your natal chart, as I do this run through, you can really look and see if you have natal planets where any of these transits are occurring, because that certainly could impact you more or less with the events and energy that I will be talking about today. So when I talk about what's happening in August, I want you to know this is just general collective astrology. So these are how the planets are transiting currently through the universe. So astrology is very subjective, right? If we talk about one house, especially the sixth house. So I'm going to use that for an example. The sixth house is the house of work, health, diet, pets. It's anything. So if we're talking about the sixth house being impacted, just know it might be something with your pet, but for your other Virgo friend, it could be something with work or someone and their health. Okay. So I just want you to keep that in mind, that when I'm talking about these houses, it really could be open to so many possibilities. But I love astrology because it helps me know the energy that is coming up, and it helps me work through it. And it helps me know how to use the energy. All right. And that's what I want to teach you, being your astrology coach, is if you have decisions or events that are coming up, it's always good to look at the astrology and know what's coming. Maybe you're having a really tough time at work and nobody's listening to you, but yet you can go and look at the astrology and see that there's, Uranus transiting through this significant house. And then you can say, okay, well, that's because that's happening. And I know it's not going to be like this forever. It's going to change and it's going to shift. That's what I love about astrology. And honestly, how I got into astrology in the first place was because I am a Cancer rising, and I found that the full moons and the new moons were really having an impact on me. So I just started my passion here with just knowing when and expecting when those full moons were happening. And I work at a school, so clearly I would see strange things happening on full moons. And from that, I just started learning about the other planets and their influences. So, all right, that's my caveat here. This is going to be about a 30-minute video deep diving into what you can expect, Virgos, for the month of August. You can bookmark this, come back, revisit, see what's really happening, and see what you were able to skip or miss. But what I'm getting for you, Virgo, is a lot of inner awakenings. You have a lot of stuff that will be happening in your 12th house. Now, the rundown here, this video can be impactful for you if you are a Virgo rising. And if you print your natal chart, that is going to coincide with what I'm showing you today. If you are a Virgo rising, that means you were born with your ascendant in Virgo. You could also be getting good information if you are a Virgo sun. So if you are over the age of 40, most people tend to relate more to their sun sign. For me personally, I like to listen to my rising sign and my sun sign, and I find similarities between both of them. Now, your moon sign is going to be more about your mood and maybe the things that you think in your head that not everybody knows about you. Right. So you show to the world one person, but then you might be someone else inside. Right. And as I always say, your sun sign is more like the character. That's what people see. That's the character you're playing in the real world. So I like to start these videos out just by sharing some characteristics about Virgos, and this comes from one of my favorite astrologers, Robert Hand. Virgo is an earth element ruled by Mercury. So you might have a sense of achievement based on knowing you've done a job well done, right? Not necessarily, you don't rely on people telling you you did a good job. You just have that own personal gratification, right? If you're building something, you like the way it looks, you're happy with that. You don't need people to tell you how great it looks. Virgos can also be cautious and not always sure of themselves, meticulous and perfectionist. I've had some Virgos in the workplace, and a lot of them sometimes have imposter syndrome. They don't know how great they are. Virgos are realistic people, and Virgo, because ruled by Mercury, sometimes can be serious, sometimes can be tricky. Sorry, I don't know what was happening to my screen there. Mercury, right? Mercury's a trickster. So, are you a trickster, Virgos? Some of you might be. Um, Now, the effect Virgo has on other planets that travel through Virgo is those planets tend to have extra precision and care when they travel through the sign of Virgo. And we'll be talking about some signs traveling through Virgo today. Venus typically does not do well in Virgo from a sexual point of view. Virgo's often associated with the Virgin. Venus is all about love, so a little more modest in the sign of Virgo. Um, Although Venus can be more creative in your sign. So the rundown for today, you can screenshot this, mark these dates in your calendar, but these are the main points that I've signaled out that will be occurring in August. And we've got two solar eclipses. It's going to be pretty powerful. So August 6th, you can see we have Venus entering Libra. On the 9th, Mercury enters the sign of Leo. And on the 11th, Mars enters the sign of Cancer. And on the 12th, we have a new moon in Leo that is also a solar eclipse. And we will talk about how you can use that power. On the 15th, we have Mercury conjunct Jupiter, which are two great signs to be hanging out together. And on the 19th, I will have a separate video coming out on this, but we have the nodes entering a new sign. Now, I am a whole sign tropical traditional astrologer, so I follow the mean nodes. So in the charts I will show you today, you will see when the North and South node will enter the signs of Leo and Aquarius. And again, I'll have a bigger breakdown on what that means for the whole collective. But today we will touch upon what it means for your sign. On the 23rd, we have the Sun entering Virgo. And on the 25th, Mercury enters Virgo. Remember what I said about these planets entering your sign? They will bring more precision and care. On the 27th, some exciting stuff. We're really ending August with a big bang because it starts with a Mercury cazimi, and that is when Mercury and the Sun conjoin, along with a lunar eclipse and a full moon in Pisces. All right, so we will get down and dirty into all that stuff. So go ahead, grab your snack, grab your beverage, and let's just hang out for the next 30 minutes. All right, our first transit starts with Venus entering Libra, and that is occurring in your second house. So the second house has to do with your money, your sense of values, and your self-worth. So Venus in this house can help you with your confidence. Maybe you will be spending money on beautiful things. So keep that in mind, and not a bad transit. On the 9th, let me move my wheel to the 9th. We have Mercury entering Leo in the 12th house. You will be having a lot of action in your 12th house for the month of August. The 12th house is an interesting house, and it's probably one of the houses I struggle with the most because there are so many meanings, but a lot of it comes down to inner work, and the subconscious. The 12th house is really like the house of Pluto, transformation, death, and rebirth. So this could indicate things happening behind the scenes. Now, what we know about Mercury, Mercury's about communication, mental precision, messages from the great beyond. So typically, Virgos, you may have more inner chatter. Or do you have a lot of talking within your brain? Your brain is always moving a mile a minute because Mercury is your ruler. So you may feel this transit more than other people will. You may feel the need for more private time, and that's what the 12th house is. So this transit can be great for journaling, for meditation, or for researching something. Mercury in Leo can bring confidence to your inner voice. Excellent ideas may come during your dreams. You should enjoy quiet walks. You may also get some downloads, thoughts, ideas during those quiet moments. So I really suggest this whole month of August is going to be great for you to take up a meditation practice. I meditate every night. It helps me sleep. It helps me clear my mind. And I think it really does help you connect to that voice that you need to connect with. So notice increased dreams or more vivid dreams. You may even be revisiting possible old memories or greater intuition. Sometimes I always wonder, maybe you'll get messages from loved ones that have passed. The shadow side of this can be overthinking or miscommunication, mental fatigue, or bottling up your feelings. So just be aware of those things, Virgo. And then our next transit on the 11th, we should have Mars moving into the sign of Cancer. And that is in your 11th house. This is your house of friends and social groups. Mars is all about aggression, getting things done. Mars is a warrior. So, how I connect these is you might have less patience for your friends. Maybe you're finding some of your groups annoying or they annoy you. Now, Cancer is emotional. Cancer is a nurturer. Mars is not. So, Mars in the sign of Cancer, he's not too happy here. He doesn't know how to deal with feelings. But Mars transitioning into this house can bring about conflict. Or it could also bring about leadership opportunities, right? Mars is a warrior and a leader. So you have that possibility as well. Or even initiating a long-term project that requires courage and determination. So Mars will be traveling through this sign through September 28th. You can expect that. So if you're finding that you're just really annoyed with people during this time, no, it's just a transit and it'll pass. Come October, you'll be all good. At least that's what I'll cover in future videos. All right, next cool transit we've got coming up is on the 12th, the next day. We have a new moon in Leo and a solar eclipse. So again, another 12th house activation. And this is occurring at 20 degrees Leo. Let me make sure that's right. Okay, I got my chart lined up. So it's actually happening at 19 degrees Leo in your 12th house. So check your natal chart to see if you have anything there. Now, I also like to look at the Sabian symbols, and this is a book written by Diana E. Roach. And what she did is she channeled a symbol for every degree and every house in the zodiac system. So at 19 degrees Leo, this is kind of cool. The vision is a houseboat party, and the key word is congeniality and celebration. So I really love this for this new moon, right? Who doesn't want to have a celebration? So this symbol speaks to creative resourcefulness and finding clever and imaginative ways to relax and explore life before beginning a new cycle of effort. All right. And that's what a new moon is all about. You will be planting the seeds this new moon all around those 12th house themes. Okay. So what you will be experiencing is really could be a 6-month reset. Okay. So this eclipse in the 12th house works behind the scenes. And like I said, could take 6 months to unfold. And you may not see the fruits of your labor right away, just like when you plant a seed in real life, right? You're not going to get lettuce the next day, but it takes time and patience. So this new moon and solar eclipse really for you Virgos is a spiritual reset. You can expect powerful new beginnings, and this is going to really start a new chapter for you. Excuse me, an inner chapter where you are working on yourself this month and you are releasing what no longer serves you, such as old fears you may have had, limiting beliefs, or unhealthy habits. Maybe even some emotional baggage and things that have been draining your energy. We're going to get rid of. Write them down. We're getting rid of them and we are releasing. Some things you can expect is increased intuition this whole month. You're going to see that theme pop up over and over again. Powerful dreams, symbolism, hidden opportunities may emerge with your career. Maybe it's a spiritual practice you pick up or unexpected help from someone. All 12th house themes. So this is going to clear out all of the old stuff so that you can step into a new version of yourself. And I really believe that that will be happening come September. So this new moon and solar eclipse is all about releasing what you don't need, reconnecting with yourself, finding rest, and preparing for the new you. All right, let's get to our next event. All right, on the 15th, we have Mercury joining Jupiter again in your 12th house of Leo. So this is all about expanding wisdom, possibly learning about dark things. Maybe it's the movies or the shows that you tend to be drawn to, mystery movies, dark movies. Now, Mercury rules the first house, which is your identity. Mercury also rules your 10th house, which is your career and reputation. So this also could bring big ideas, which is Jupiter, big abundance, increased intuition, Mercury, or possibly interested in psychology or dark subjects, like I said. You may see helpful mentors come out to offer support. But this transit works quietly behind the scenes. Now, something else that's being influenced here is we have a sextile to Venus. And let me grab my pencil and draw that in for you, all right? So we've got Mercury and Jupiter here sextiling Venus in your second house. So we're going to see an influence there where you might be able to turn your knowledge into income. All right, you will be experiencing increased confidence. You might improve your relationship with money. But this could really, again, we're bringing about inner growth to really strengthen your sense of security. It's a very encouraging transit for you. All right, next up on the 19th, okay, this is the other exciting piece I talked about when the nodes are moving to a new sign. So that happens on the 19th. All right, so we have the South Node in Leo and your 12th house again, right? Lots going on in that 12th house. And North Node is in your 6th house of Aquarius. This is an 18-month cycle that will unfold. This is going to shift from living in your inner world, the 12th house, to building a meaningful life in your sixth house. Sixth house is that house I was saying could mean a whole bunch of different things. It's very subjective. So you're going to pull out what is most meaningful to you. So this could be through service, through healthy routines. It could be pets. So the South Node wants you to release, and the North Node wants you to grow. So think about what you need to let go of here. So you're going to let go of something in that 12th house so that you can grow in the sixth. So maybe it's the need to not carry things alone. Are you carrying a lot of burdens? Maybe the universe is telling you you don't have to do it alone. Are you someone that withdraws when things get hard? Maybe it's about uncovering hidden truths about yourself that you didn't know about. And then the universe wants you to grow in the sixth house. So quite possibly, maybe you will be focusing more on taking care of your health, developing skills, serving others, or just developing improved work habits, trying out new things. Now, because it's in Aquarius, I'm going to be, I'm thinking of those 21st century skills, technology work, or working collaboratively with a team. But this node axis is all about finding balance. So going from escaping to engaging, going from isolation to meaningful contribution. So again, this is a really good transit for adopting healthier routines. If you've been thinking about joining a gym or trying a new diet, or maybe you just want to commit to walking, getting in a certain amount of steps today, I say go for it. Maybe you want to learn a new skill. Maybe you want to learn about astrology, or you want to take a painting or a pottery class. Just be open to new ideas, especially at work, because the more you build your foundation here, the more rewards you will reap. So again, I will have a video coming out on the nodes. Feel free to watch that. First, I'm putting out all of these whole sign videos for August 1st, and I'm only about halfway done. So it's taken me a while. Our next transit is on the 23rd. Let me move my wheel. And on the 23rd, we have the sun entering Virgo. This is in your first house. This is going to really brighten your identity. Your first house is your identity, your physique. Maybe you're feeling a little lighter in your step, or a little more confident, or a little more meticulous about things. Michael Jackson was born with a Virgo sun. He was very precise and meticulous and a perfectionist and wanted to do everything the right way. And I would say that's your downside, Virgo. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. Enjoy the moment. Put yourself first. Try doing things to step out of your comfort zone. That's only going to help you grow more. And then on the 25th, Mercury here, your hero, right? He's your sign, he's your man, he's entering your first house. Mercury is very happy in the sign of Virgo because Mercury rules the sign of Virgo. This brings about wise intellect for you. You are sharp. You can be a problem solver. You can be excellent at communicating right now your ideas. This is your period of waking up after reflection, right? Mercury was in your 12th house, deep internal work, reflecting on things. Now it's time to wake up and find your voice again. You might experience faster thinking or speaking up and presenting ideas. Also, you might even just want to update your style. This is a time to feel curious and mentally energized. As I said before, Mercury also impacts the 10th house. So Mercury can be supportive if you have job interviews coming up or looking for a new job, if you have presentations or you're working on a writing project or even negotiation. It's a favorable time just to organize your life. All right. And we are nearing to the end of August. On the 27th, you can see we have a Sun Mercury cazimi, and this is at 4 degrees. I would check your natal chart. Let me know if you have any planets or anything that's being impacted here, because it certainly will make a difference for you. All right, Sabian symbol here for the Sun Mercury cazimi. Again, channeled by Diana E. Roach, the book Sabian Symbols, A Screen of Prophecy. What she saw for 4 degrees Virgo, a colored child playing with white children. So this vision can signify intimacy and integration, cooperation, valuing differences. And I think this is a good transit for the world, right? There's a lot going on where people are taking sides and choosing sides. And I think this is just great to show that we're all in this world together and we are all people, right? We're all people trying to survive. So a good transit for cooperation and just valuing a different perspective, right? We don't all have to agree, but we can value someone else's perspective, right? I understand you see it that way. That's okay. So your greatest advantage here lies in how you adjust to new situations and being mentally clear. Now we have a square here to Uranus. Let me grab my pencil. All right, this is the cazimi here, and then we have Uranus up here in Gemini. So clarity may come more in the form of a surprise. Uranus can bring like shocks, disruption, or breakthrough. But Mercury is very happy in your first house in Virgo with the sun. He's not necessarily burning up, but he's sitting in this bright, clear throne. So he's just going to benefit you more here. But with that Uranus there in the square, that tends to be more of a point of friction, a shocking surprise that's going to shake things up. But like I said, Mercury's going to bring you some crystal clear thinking. You will be able to work through it. You may have some important conversations or a new vision or a new direction. But your weeks of previous reflection, you will just find something will just click. For a lot of people, that Mercury cazimi is an aha moment when you just realize something. All right. Like I said, Uranus can bring that unexpected change, freedom, innovation, and awakening. So we've got that square tension. Now we've got the 10th house of our career could also mean a new realization or news about your job. Something's changing, change in your professional direction, or maybe even just a recognition of ideas or an awakening of your identity. Now, the next day on the 28th, and this is our last big event for August. Let me grab that mouse again and turn my wheel. So this is the lunar eclipse and the full moon happening in Pisces in your 7th house. We've got a little bit of a different spin because your 7th house is all about relationships. And a full moon is all about closure or a culmination of things. So this could be a turning point with your relationship. It could be something ending, or it could be a new stage. Maybe you'll be having conversations that will reveal the truth, right? Maybe you're going to get engaged. So again, it could go either way. Just something to think about and be aware of, right? If you are in a relationship, like I said, you might be taking the next step. Or maybe you've been in a relationship that hasn't been going well, and it's really opening your eyes to reveal the truth so that you can see that things could be better. Something becomes clear during this point. So, Virgo, are you giving too much or not enough in your relationship? Something to consider. This house is also ruled by business partnerships, so it may not just be romantic endeavors. It could also be clients and collaborations. But your main theme here is to learn to build a relationship where you can be yourself, right? We talked so much about reflecting in that 12th house. And once you can reflect and see, things are going to be clear. And that's going to affect your career. It's going to affect your relationships. So I think we've got some good things coming for you in August. So if you like this content, give me a like if you haven't already. Be sure to subscribe so you can always get the most up-to-date information. I try to put out my information before other people because I am new at this. And I'm just looking for my channel to grow, and feel free to come back, check this chart. I will also link my video in how to access your own natal chart if you don't have that already. So Virgo, I appreciate you. Have a wonderful August, and I hope to see you back here soon.